Hello and welcome back to another episode of my MotoGP 21 career mode, and today we are here for the second episode of my MotoGP season at the Argentinian GP. Now before we do get into this one, I do need to explain a little bit of what happened in the previous episode. If you haven't seen that one, I do recommend you go check it out so it actually makes sense to you. Basically, I was complaining the whole race that the AI were brake checking me, getting off the throttle, going really slow on the straights, and it really confused me. And for some reason, the game, as it turns out, had set my AI difficulty back to 73. It's not 73, sorry, 83. You can see I have actually changed it back to 120 now, so it should be correct for this episode. But that was really, really bizarre because I haven't changed it to 83 in any game mode, so I don't know how that even happened. But I've heard that apparently when you put a new mod on, that can sometimes happen. That's what I got told by Dylan. He said that happened to him before, so that potentially could be what happened. But thanks to the people in the comments that pointed out the lap times weren't the 120 lap times. I went and did some testing, found out, and actually checked and saw that it didn't say 120. So yeah, that's a little bit weird, but whatever. That's just the first round. We didn't win anyway, so I suppose it's not the end of the world. But we'll advance forward now then 1 week to the Argentinian Grand Prix. We've actually got a notification on the headquarters, so we can put a frame upgrade on. That is tyre consumption reduction. We'll have a look, see what else we've got. So we've got better reactivity, which we're 20 points away from, and then on that side, it's more tyre consumption reduction. So I think, to be honest, for now, probably speed is what I'm going to need. So I'll probably go for this one here. So I'll just wait until after the weekend to put the upgrade on. So that's pretty much everything sorted out before this race needs to start then. So I'll see you at the end of free practice and see how we got on. So then, coming towards the end of FP1, it's been a tough old session. You can see we've done 9 laps. I've been trying to do the race pace the whole time, and I've only done 1 lap. It's actually valid for that. So, Marini's just crashed into Nakagami. That's interesting AI development behind there. But yeah, it's been super, super tough session. I've just managed to put myself in the top 10 on a set of medium tyres. So I think that's where I'm going to end off the session. Not because, I want to give up. I think it's just because I'm going to run out of tyres otherwise. So top 10. That obviously would get us through to qualifying 2, but I would assume that they'll improve in the next free practice session. So it looks like we're probably going to go through qualifying 1, which is more what I expected this season to be like, based on how I knew the 120 AI would be. We'll end off the session now. Hopefully the AI don't improve, but yeah, they definitely will. So I did stay 10th in this session, so that is promising, but you can see we're 4 tenths off Bagnaia. It's super, super close. I mean, I found about probably half a second. You can see how close it is, though. Darren Binder 1.1 seconds off. The slowest time. I was around 1.5 seconds off for a lot of the session. So yeah, it really is going to be tough. It's going to be interesting. The race might be a bit different, I think, because the AI still seems to be slow on the straights, even on 120. Because I tested it, I got a slipstream off Darren Binder, but I still absolutely blasted past him. Not quite to the degree that we were doing at Qatar, but not far off. So it does seem like the AI are a little bit slow on the straight for whatever reason, which will help us in the race. But to be honest, the straights aren't that important at this circuit. There's only really the one long back straight, so yeah, it's not going to be too bad for us. But we'll end this session now. Hopefully we'll go through to qualifying 2, but I can't see it, to be honest. So yeah, we actually did get shuffled down a few positions in the order, but it's going to be tough because it's a competitive looking qualified 2. I mean, look who's in here with us. Zarco is in here. Rins is in here as well. I mean, obviously Polisbagro, he's not too good in the mod, but Zarco is supposed to be still quite good. Bastianini as well. He was right at the front in Qatar, so this is going to be really tough. I don't know if we'll be able to actually go through this session, but yeah, we did just get shuffled down. However, it'll be interesting to see what we can do on a brand new, fresh set of mediums, because the front had been used when I went and did that lap before, because I'd circulated on it previously before I swapped to hard tyres. But it seems like tyres are definitely going to be really important in this weekend, because I think I'm going to have to go for the hard tyre in the race. I mean, it's even recommended hard tyre in qualifying for me, but I'm just a lot slower with it, so even if I can qualify well, I think I'll drop back in the race just on account of having to use the harder tyre. So far, there's no lap times on the board, so there's nothing to compare to, but I'm expecting that we're going to struggle. I don't think we're going to get through, but we'll see. We'll see what we can do. A bit of Power Mode 3 down towards the first corner. There's only really a couple of places where you can viably use Power Mode 3, to be honest, so it's not going to give you that much lap times. If you mess up the lap, it's not going to make up for it, whereas obviously a lot of other tracks it does. We'll see what the time is through this first sector. 30.9. If I recall, that wasn't too bad in free practice. I think some of my better laps are up there, so I don't think that's a terrible first sector. So coming up towards the line, what's this time going to be? 36.3. Well, that's considerably quicker than anything I've done so far. That would have been a pretty competitive lap, actually, in free practice, so that's actually surprised me a little bit. I managed to use my Power Mode 3 in a few more places than I expected, but that's actually caught me off guard. I don't think it's still going to be good enough, because you see Rins is on a double red. Yeah, well, Binder's just gone top of the session anyway, so yeah, I'm not through anymore, but I've actually got a bit more pace in hand than I thought I did. Yeah, so Rins and Zarco have both gone faster as well. Alex Marquez, you can see I'm almost half a second off the top time. And honestly, that lap wasn't that bad. I don't know if I'm going to find half a second. So we'll see. Perhaps I'll have to go on a set of soft softs, because they might... I mean, I suppose it's worth it just to see what I can do, because I haven't really got another set of mediums anyway to go through into qualifying too. So even if I actually went through, I'd be on scrub tyres in that session, which would still be better than nothing, but, you know, it's not ideal. So I'm going to give soft a go, because I've not tried the soft tyres all weekend. I'm assuming that they'll be pretty terrible, because they're pretty bad in this game, but, you know, it's basically the only shot I've actually got left. I'll do a pit out, so I can actually keep the tyres cool on the lap, on the out lap anyway. Currently we're in 7th place in this session, and that's 17th place on the grid. We're very close, you can see. We're only such a small margin away from Bezzecchi. I don't know, obviously, the gap to Alex Marquez, but I imagine, again, it's something very small. I've got to say, I've not played, obviously, a lot of free practice sessions and qualifying and stuff for the MotoGP class. Oh, Vinales has just lost the front, and Zarco as well, so, yeah, the AI sort of bug out when you kind of go slow in front of them. But yeah, sorry, what I was saying was that in the free practice sessions, it seems they're just extremely fast. And they're extremely close as well. Obviously, I've done a few races you've seen. Obviously, I've done lots of videos doing races and stuff against the AI on this in this class on this game. But yeah, it's actually kind of incredible how close they are in these sessions, which really does match real life. So I've got to give them props for that. Usually, there used to be some quite big gaps between some of the riders, but it seems like it's super close. You can see I'm barely in front of Binder, and I'm like not even a tenth off of Bezzecchi in front. So I have to find a small amount of time. But the problem is that at this circuit, well, just the problem is that finding time is difficult. Although Bezzecchi's gone down as well now, so I think the AI seems to be crashing a little bit, so that could be good for us in the race, but obviously you don't want to win a race really by everybody crashing. Even on this out lap, the soft tyre on the rear is completely gone, so it's not going to be worth it. It's not going to actually give me any time whatsoever. It's going to cost me a lot, so I'm just going to try and slow down as much as I can, just to cool that tyre off a little, but it's just not going to be enough, is it? So much sort of lean angle rear wheel steering at this circuit that you're never going to get a soft rear to last. Perhaps putting a soft front on a medium rear might have been worth it, but then the soft rear does actually, soft fronts and arms is not great for braking anyway, so we'll see what I can do with this tyre, but I can't imagine it will be a lot. Yeah, I couldn't even get the power down out of that corner, so I actually did the line pretty well through the corner for once, but I couldn't actually get the power down. I mean, look, the tyre is completely red. It's absolutely gone. The soft tyres are pretty much garbage in this game. So I wasn't able to improve. I ended up going into the gravel at the last corner, just trying to straight line it to the line, but yeah, that didn't help. So I doubt we're going to have enough time to get back around now with the limited time left in the session, but I'll see. Maybe I can go out for another medium run, but I don't think we're going to be able to improve this time, sadly. Well, annoyingly, I've got back around to the pits probably in time, but the AI is stuck, just autopiloting. Like, it crashed going into the pit lane, the AI crashed itself, and now there's not enough time for me to actually go back out, so that's annoying. I went into the pits absolutely fine, the AI just steered into the wall, fell off, and then it just couldn't get going again, so that's actually pretty annoying, because that means I couldn't go out and do another lap. So that is our second qualifying session of the season over, and it's a much worse position than the first one, to say the least. We've actually been bumped down by Pol as well now, so we're actually 18th on the grid. That's still in front of a fair few riders, but still not as many as I'd like. It's a shame because we were so close to a little bit of a better position. You can see obviously how close we were to Alex Marquez in 5th place there. Obviously I know that's only 3 places further forward on the grid, but that's a whole row, so it does make a difference. It's just so difficult. It's so difficult. The AI actually really good in MotoGP, which is why I was kind of shocked in the first race while they were braking so much. I'm quite disappointed actually that first race happened in the way that it did, where the AI performance was broken. Well, the difficulty was set incorrectly because the game had reset it for whatever reason. Because I wanted to have a hard season trying to fight for, probably not the championship, let's be honest. We're qualifying 18th, we're probably not going to be fighting for the championship. Although we did have that in Moto2 to some extent last year, so it's not completely out of the question. But either way, that's all in the past now. We're starting 18th for this race. It's going to be tough. Hard tyres probably, or maybe medium hard actually, more like what I'm going to go with. So at least I've got one medium tyre on. I don't think medium will last. It depends on the number of laps. I think maybe is there 5 laps? Well, it'll be 6 laps I would have thought, so yeah, I can't see the medium lasting 6 laps, so I think I'm going to have to go with the hard tyre. I'm just going to have no pace whatsoever. So I might just risk it. I think I might just risk it and go on the medium, because I'm just going to have nothing of a race if I'm on the hard tyre. So we're down here on the grid then, and you can see we're on softs at the minute. Definitely going to change that. But Fabio Quartararo on pole position, then ahead of Jorge Martin in second place. So the game is recommending me a medium front. Is it going to recommend me a hard rear? It is. So I guess I've got to go with the hard rear then, but I'm not going to have the pace of the AI, sadly, because AI are going to be a lot quicker than me. Well, they were going to be quicker than me anyway, but I felt that at least on the medium I could kind of compete with them. But on the hard, I don't think I can at all. So I think I'm going to be struggling massively in this race. So we're going to have to try and get a good start, gain some positions on the opening lap, not losing them for once, and then just defend for the rest of the race. I think that's probably going to be the tactic, because we're just not going to be quick enough at the minute. We're definitely not going to get that race goal of top 5, that's for sure. But yeah, I think we're going to struggle to even get points.
Everything here is ready to start the race at Termas De Rio Hondo. Riders have just one more thing on their mind now, being the first to cross the finish line.
So we've got Fabio on pole then, Martin in second, Miller in third. He's going to want to make up for his poor start to the season at Qatar, but waiting for the lights to go here then at Argentina. Lights out and away we go, and I'm not sure if we just jump started there. That was a very good start, if not. We're using a bit of power mode 3 as well to try and get off the line a bit better as we go into the first corner, sweeping around the outside of Alex Marquez, right behind Di Giannantonio's a bit of crash. Marquez is down, a few riders are down. We're up to 13th, 12th place already. So it's been a good start, but there has been a couple of riders crash in front of us, so that has got to be taken into account. We're on the inside, we're completely out of control, but somehow we've still got it stopped. I've now been overtaken by Alex Rins again. On the inside we go though, into this right-hander on the inside of Alex Marquez, on the inside of Alex Rins. We've pushed them a bit wide, I think they're through that section. Here comes Ralph Fernandez, he was right behind us on the grid. So we're up to 11th place already. Can we try and make any more positions down towards this turn 5? I'm still using a lot of power mode 3. I'm going to use a lot of it on this first lap to try and make progress, because I know that's what I've got to do. We can't afford to be stuck down in the lower positions after the first couple of laps. So here we are then up the inside of Oliveira. Oliveira's trying to go around the outside. We're going to have to try to squeeze him out a little bit, but he's got the position. Can we try and go around the outside of him? Oh, the back end is not happy about that. I forgot about this Yamaha. Trying to do some deep braking. You can't do it, but here we go. We've got the switch back on Oliveira now. Surely we've got him this time. Surely we've got the Portuguese rider. No, and he's back up the inside once again. So Oliveira really wants that 9th place. I want that 9th place, but I'm going to have to cede it. So Oliveira goes up into 9th place. No one's going to come to the inside here, are they? Oh, yes, they are. Di Giannantonio's cut on the inside. But I think he's going to get me. Here we go down towards the penultimate turn. Now I've got back in front of him now, but that Ducati trying to get up the inside of us there. Through the penultimate turn then. Going to flick the bike over left. Through the last corner. See if we can make a pass down towards the first corner on Oliveira, because that first lap was pretty good. But you can see we are very critical on fuel, because I used a lot of power mode 3. We're going around the outside into the first corner. I think that's just because I've gone in hot though, by the looks of it. So that's probably going to allow Digi at the inside. Not quite. So actually still in front of Digi. Remember, we battled for the win with him in Moto2 here last season. So look how things change. We're running 10th and 11th in MotoGP now. Can we try and pass Oliveira down this straight? I want to use some more power mode 3, but I really don't want to run out of fuel before the end of the race. That's the problem. Try and use a little bit, because they got out of that corner a lot better than me. Ralph Fernandez looks like he's going for a move on Di Giannantonio. Back down to power mode 2. We're going to pass Oliveira around the outside. Second lap in a row of trying this. He's still on the inside. He's touched me a bit. I don't know if I came across on him. I think he kind of just barged me a bit there, to be honest, because I'd sort of got the move done. So it's a bit unfortunate that Oliveira felt the need to do that, but I suppose I've had a bit of contact with a few AI during the race already as well. But it's just been a good race so far, but a usual Termas race is usually some sort of crash at the first corner, and then everybody runs in a long pack. So watch out for a few laps to go. There will be some massive change in position, because the tyre wear really starts to kick in with a few laps to go. Oh, Ralph Fernandez straight up the inside. So Ralph Fernandez has passed me, demoted me down to 11th position. You can see how much time we lost Oliveira in just a couple of corners. That's what I mean, how I'm a bit out of my depth. I've not got the pace of the AI, so I kind of had to give it everything on the first up to do it. But Ralph's gone very wide into the penultimate turn. That's surely going to allow me to get the move done. I'm going to be very aggressive through the last corner, chop his nose off. I'm not giving this up easy. So 37.3 there. So about a second off what I did in qualifying. Fabio Quartararo does a 36.5. Fast off of the race in the lead of the race. So we're right back on the back of Oliveira again. We've actually had a very good lap. It seems as if he's struggling. I found a little bit of pace. I mean, I'm half a second under my previous lap. I think that's even without power mode 3 on this one. So that does tell you that I'm kind of getting into the groove a little bit now with this track and this bike. So maybe I'll be able to actually make some moves forward, which would be quite nice if I could try and finish a little bit more solidly in the top 10. I think that would be a pretty good result against 120 AI at this track. So here we are to the penultimate turn. Oliveira's wide. We're going to have him here, I think. Going to do what I did to Ralph Fernandez on the previous lap. Yes, I am. Up towards the line. Fastest lap of the race as well. 36.4, already a tenth off what I did in qualifying. The pace has hotted up in this race for me. I've found a lot of time. Well, I've just made a big mistake to turn one. Don't allow Miguel straight back through. I've not. So I've actually made progress. And I feel like I'm going to make a little bit more. So my pace seems to be about what I could do in qualifying there on that lap. So if I could try and repeat that, that would be absolutely fantastic. So here we are then. We've got a good run compared to Nakagami. He's a little bit of Palmer 3, although I am trying to watch the fuel. So there's not a massive amount left. Here we go to the right hand side. Up the inside of Nakagami. The bike is completely out of shape. I'm not getting this one stopped, that's for sure. A bit wide, not too wide though. We might be able to actually keep the position ahead of him. He's going to try and hang it around the outside though. I think I've got it though. So we're up to 8th place now then. Next up is Johann Zarco. Can we make any progress on him? I've realised how fast this race has gone. We're about to start the penultimate lap in a minute. So that really tells you how quick this has gone. It's unbelievable. Miller's just taken the fastest lap away from me with that 36.3. So the AI at the front. In fact, Miller's in the lead now. So yeah, the AI at the front seem to be upping the pace a little bit. But these ones a bit further back. They still seem to be around about my speed. I think Quartararo is struggling because Aleix Espargaro's passed him as well. It looks like Martin's all over the back of him. So Fabio looks to be dropping back through the order a little bit. So on this last lap, there could be some major changes. I mean, if he goes super slow, we might be able to catch him. But I think he probably is a little bit too far in front of me. Although he's only a few places up the road. He's only in front of Morbidelli, Mir and Zarco in front of me now. So if he really is struggling, which it looks like he is, we might be able to beat Fabio Quartararo here. Yeah, Fabio's dropped behind Mir and Morbidelli now, so Zarco's got to pass him, and then it's my turn. I've saved a bit of fuel on that previous lap. I didn't use any power mode 3, so I'm ready to attack on this final lap of the race. Hopefully we could try and get both of these riders here and try and get my way up to 6th place, because that would be absolutely fantastic. Because look how much Quartararo is struggling. Zarco passing like he's standing still. I've got to try dispatch of the Frenchman myself as well. Up the inside of Fabio Quartararo, so we're straight past him like he's standing still. So we've passed Quartararo already, and there's still all this lap left to go. I've got to try to miss warning. Fortunately, no penalty there, but I completely messed up that section. That's going to cost me quite a bit of time. I've got the turning completely wrong. It's so difficult because it's so blind there. I think that's actually stopped us having any attempt at passing Zarco, but we're really borderline on the fuel. We're on 0.2 of a lap over target, so we can't use any more power mode 3 now. We're still going to try and get the inside of Zarco. They're out of here. We're right on the back of the Frenchman. If we can stay close, maybe we can make a pass. He's struggling with his tyre wear as well. I wonder if some of these AI went for mediums and are now paying the price because they're running out. Whereas I went on the hard tyre, which I wasn't going to initially. Well, I was, and then I changed my mind, and then I changed my mind back. So it's fortunate that I did. It seems to be the better tyre choice. Makes me wonder whether Miller might be on a hard in the lead. Unfortunately, they are just so good through this section, I can't keep up with them. So unless I can get super close to Zarco down towards this penultimate turn, I'm not going to be able to make a move on him, sadly. But honestly, I can't really complain, because from 18th to 7th, that is a comeback ride and a half. Yeah, we're right behind Zarco. We're not going to quite get him. Can I try and flick it over to the last corner? Not quite. So up towards the line then. It's going to be 7th place. And honestly, not too bad from where we started. I'm not going to complain. So Jack Miller wins the Argentinian GP then ahead of Aleix Espargaro in 2nd place, Jorge Martin in 3rd, Franco Morbidelli in 4th, and Joan Mir in 5th. Myself then ending up in 7th place. But if you look at the times, I was right up there in terms of pace. So they kind of did their free practice times-ish in the race, which I knew I could somewhat get near. So I knew if I got a good start, I could do something. And honestly, I'm surprised. That is the kind of result that makes me happy, because we struggled all weekend, and I've got a top 10 result. And that's what my Moto 2 season was like. When I couldn't do it, I finished in the top 10. I finished well. Whereas you see Quartararo, it has just finished in the top 10 to be fair, but only just. He finished in 10th place, I finished in 7th. So we've gained points on Fabio there after what looked like it was going to be a win for him at one point. And then I saw that Miller had passed him, then Aleix, and it was clear he was struggling. So I'm guessing that Fabio was on the medium tyre or something like that. But what a race that was. So in the championship then, I actually keep my 2nd position, which is quite interesting. It's just because of the different fortunes people have had in different races. Obviously, Quartararo continues to lead. But I did not think going into this round that I would decrease my gap to the lead in the championship. But there you go, only 2 points away from Fabio Quartararo now. Johann Zarco in 3rd place. Jack Miller moves up 21 positions to 4th. Aleix Espargaro moves up a lot to 5th. Martin up to 6th. I think a lot of the riders that did well were riders that got knocked off in the previous race. You can see Nakagami in 7th place there. Morbidelli crashed obviously in the last race as well. So let's have a look at the Teams Championship, and we actually lose the lead of the Teams Championship. Monster Energy Yamaha now take that with 44 points, ahead of Pramac Racing with 42, and then ourselves, RNF Yamaha, with 37. So I'll go have a look at the replay now, see if we can actually see what happened in that first corner. A crash that wasn't involving me, which is always nice, but I doubt we'll be able to watch it just because of how the replays work in this game. Oh no, actually we can. We can actually watch it. That's interesting then. Let's have a look. So here we are on board with Marquez then, going into the first corner. He's right on the apex. Contact with Bagnaia. Down he goes. Bagnaia actually didn't crash there, so Bagnaia must have crashed somewhere else. Honestly, it was a bit of a weird collision. One of those things where they're just both their lines converged. Obviously, Marquez went a bit tight into turn 1, which caused him to sort of run wide onto Bagnaia's line, which obviously is a bit frustrating for Bagnaia, but I mean, he could have easily picked up the bike, whereas obviously Marquez didn't really have that option. It seems like Bagnaia got knocked off after further contact with Binder that was caused by his initial being knocked off target by Marquez. So up the inside, Marquez hits him. Yeah, and then he touches Binder, down he goes. You can see that's what got Bastianini. Oh, he did a massive stop. In fact, Bastianini didn't crash then. Bastianini, that's unbelievable. Bastianini stayed on by doing a massive stoppie, but yeah, not a good weekend for Bastianini. He had a good race in Qatar, but he started at the back of the grid, I think, in this one. On board with Bastianini, going through the first corner. You see there's a bit of a crash in front. He sort of hits Darren Binder. Oh, but then he's a massive stoppie. That is unbelievable. That is unbelievable. Let's see what happened to the other contenders then, I guess. So on board with our teammate Darren Binder, and again, he just gets caught up. In fact, actually, he was going to... That was weird. He was going to do a similar thing to Bastianini, sort of stay on. He sort of got pincered between the two Repsols, but then he got hit by Bastianini, and then Pole's bike flicked up, sent him off, and he sort of had a mid-air high side, and down he went, bless him. There's not really much poor old Darren Binder could do to avoid that. And I think the last person involved in that crash then is Pol Espargaro. So yeah, he just hits his teammate's bike and down he goes, and then his bike gets sent up into the air. In fact, actually, I think both the Sky bikes are involved as well. Well, not the Sky, the VR46 bikes, I have to kind of remember to not call them Sky, even though in the mod they still are. Here we are then on board with Bezzecchi going into the first corner. You see the crash on the inside. Oh, it's when Binder gets hit into his path, they both go down. So unfortunately, it's all really just a chain reaction from Marquez going so tight, isn't it? Obviously, I realise that's what it would be, but it's crazy how many riders actually got caught up in that. The AI's intelligence is just not there, is it? Their pace seems to be there this year, but their intelligence is still a bit to be desired there. So after looking at all those incidents, I realised I hadn't showed off the Constructors' Championship. I always forget about that, because obviously it's only in the MotoGP class, so I always forget to actually look at it. But Ducati have now taken it ahead of Yamaha. Honda stayed third. Aprilia actually moved up 2 positions to 4th. So Aprilia, after the first episode, weren't looking too good because they had no points. But Aleix Espargaro picked up a 2nd position, so not going to complain about that. Probably going to complain a little bit about Vinales' lack of pace, but Aleix, he's right up there, so he's flying the flag for Aprilia this year. But now that we've looked at the Constructors' Championship, let's head back to the Career Hub. We're probably not going to get much from the weekend because we didn't achieve any of the objectives, even though I think it was actually quite a good weekend still. But the game considers us to be on a Petronas Yamaha, so it has quite high expectations. So that's the reason why the race goal is so high. So in terms of reputation, then we actually lost 13,300, which takes us down to 559,700. Although last time I lost reputation, I was worried about being fired, but we've done the experiment since, and we know that that isn't the case. You can't get fired for not performance. That doesn't really matter. And we still get paid some sort of credits there, 1,400, which takes us up to 649,350. As for the research data, again, it wasn't ideal, but the brake disc one actually passed because I managed to do the time in the race, I guess. Actually, the qualifying time was slightly quicker, wasn't it? So, yeah, I think I managed to actually get the brake disc one in the end with the qualifying laps. That's pretty good. So we gained quite a bit of research data there. So we got 4,000 on the engine, 3,680 on the frame, 2,280 on the aero, and 305 on the electronics. So we can actually put that frame upgrade on that we were looking at the start of the episode now, I would have thought. That's the engine, might want to go onto the right section. But yeah, I wanted to get this better reactivity, although I don't know whether tyre consumption reduction might be an important one to go with, having seen what happened to Fabio. That is probably something to consider, that the bike probably is a little bit tyre sensitive, but we'll get this upgrade here so that I can have a bit better, the bike turns a little bit better. Not that it turns badly, but you know, it's always better to have the best bike you can have. That'll take 6 weeks, so it'll be a while before we get that, but not too long, probably about, 6 races, I guess. About halfway through the season, then we'll end up getting it. But either way, it's still better than nothing. But that pretty much brings this episode to a close then, guys. So I hope you guys have enjoyed that one. I actually really enjoyed it. I was a little bit down after the free practice of qualifying, thinking that, this is going to be a boring race. I know I'm going to be circulating the back. I'm going to struggle to even get points. And in the end, it was a really good race. We managed to beat the championship leader and actually close up in the championship. finished right behind Zarco as well, which stopped him really surpassing us. Yeah, I quite enjoyed it. It was good battling with the AI as well in close quarters, especially with Ralph Fernandez and Oliveira, sort of the cutback moves on them. So I really enjoyed it, so I hope you guys did too. But I hope you guys enjoy the rest of your day. Hope you're all staying safe, and I shall see you in the next video.